Good evening, everyone. I call to order the Little Falls Planning Board meeting of November 7, 2024. Please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Scoba, are there any comments for the planning board?
Good evening, Chairman. No one came before the governing body with any issues concerning this planning board.
Thank you very much. Valerie, please call the roll.
The Little Falls Township Planning Board meeting of Thursday, November 7, 2024 is called to order. Please take notice that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. The notice of the meeting was promptly posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 4th, 2024. Copy of the notice was sent via email to the North Jersey Herald and News on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the township clerk. Please note that this meeting is being taped. Therefore, we ask that you speak loud and clear into the microphones.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval of the minutes of October 3rd, 2024?
Chairman, should we do roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Barry?
Here.
Mr. Karaj? Mr. Luke Damiano?
Here.
Ms. Cataldo?
Here.
Mr. Seaver? Mr. Poshis? Mayor Damiano?
Here.
Councilman Scoba?
Here.
Dr. Abdi?
Here.
Mr. Wade? Mr. Dolan?
Here.
Mr. Rima?
Here.
Mr. Brigliadoro?
Here.
Mr. Koblers?
Here.
Ms. Siobhan? Mr. Kilpatrick?
Here. May I have a motion for the approval of the minutes of October 3rd, 2024?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
please poll the board.
Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Luke Damiano?
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo?
Yes.
Mayor Damiano?
Yes.
Councilman Scoba?
Yes.
Dr. Abdi?
Yes.
Mr. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Rima?
Yes.
Mr. Kilpatrick?
Yes. The minutes are approved. May I have a motion for memorializing the resolutions from the October 3rd meeting? Number one, the adoption of the 2024 master plan of the Township of Little Falls.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Please poll the board.
Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Luke Damiano?
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo?
Yes.
Mayor Damiano?
Yes.
Councilman Scoba?
Yes.
Dr. Abdi?
Yes.
Mr. Kilpatrick?
Yes. May I have a motion for the memorializing the resolution for Coric LLC?
I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Please poll the board.
Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Mr. Luke Damiano?
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo?
Yes.
Dr. Abdi?
Yes.
Mr. Kilpatrick?
Chairman votes yes, the resolution is approved. So with that, we have approved the adoption of the 2024 master plan. Thank you very much, everyone. Applications, is the Senior Fire Department here?
Your Chairman. Good evening, everybody. Entering my appearance on behalf of the SINGAC Volunteer Fire Company Number 3, John Vettery Jr., 3 University Plaza, Suite 207, Hackensack, New Jersey. So we're here on an application this evening, which is the continuation of some improvements. You may recall we were here on a lot line adjustment with 75 North Pompton. So this property has been looked at in many different ways. As part of that application, it was noted by the engineer, I'm not sure if it was Mr. Kobolars at that time, it may have been Mr. Cristaldi, that there were garages that were there that had encroached on the Farnese property. In very good faith, the SINGAC Fire Company and the Farneses had, written an agreement Not going to criticize the agreement too much, never got recorded with the county clerk. But suffice it to say, it was something that when they looked at their need for a new garage, that we said, this is the time to clean that up. Unfortunately, Dr. Joe passed away. We'd worked with them, to come up with a plan. And as it turns out, we were able to come up with a plan that doesn't encroach on their property at all. So previously, the two garages that were there encroached pretty significantly on a lot, like 4 feet. It was not a small encroachment. It's never a good thing to have. It happens all over town, in this town and other towns all over the state. So when we looked at this, we tried to be able to fit a garage, a new garage that is at least 30 feet of depth, which will allow them to have a proper home for the 1952 fire apparatus that was built in large part by Vince Stransfield, who passed away earlier this year, as you all know, and it was very special to him. And it's going to go through a restoration, and this is a significant part of that, not the least of which is the other apparatus that they have now. There are boats and ladders and things that, putting them in the two, really, they weren't garages, they were more like sheds. So it was a lot to accomplish on one lot. And luckily they hired Mr. Bush as the architect, and who worked on the site plan and came up with a plan that eliminated the encroachments, built a garage, proposing a garage, and then leaving at least a little bit of room. And that's the nature of, we're here tonight asking for some relief with respect to the variances for the side yard setback for an accessory structure. There was just no other way to comply. Otherwise, we would not be able to build a garage that would suit their needs or really any other needs. But in doing that, the Farneses were good enough to still grant the applicants an easement just for maintenance. Even though we have 2 feet and even more around certain sides as shown on the plans, it's still tight quarters if they ever have to do any repair, gutter work, or painting. I don't know if there'll be any painting. It is proposed to be all in brick, and we're looking to match the brick of the original historic building. So I think that will tie in nicely and make some other site improvements as shown on the plans. So that's essentially what's before you this evening. We do have the variance to build the accessory structure with the setback variance. We have one witness this evening, which is Michael Bush, who is the architect and who also worked on and prepared the site plan that was presented to the board. So that's an overview. And unless there are other further questions, I'll bring up my first and only witness, Mike Bush from Studio 43.
Bush, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please tell us your name, spell your last name, and give us your business address.
Michael Bush Jr., B-U-S-C-H. My business address is 310 Sake Avenue, Suite 210, Fairfield, New Jersey.
Great. Mike, if you would just give the board the benefit of your professional and educational experience.
Sure, I have a Bachelor of Architecture from NJIT. I'm an executive MBA from NJIT also. I'm a licensed architect in 48 states and Puerto Rico, and my license and firm registration are in the state of New Jersey.
Terrific. We have Mr. Bush is an expert in the area.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
Working on Guam, I believe.
no, it's California and Alaska, so I haven't taken the test yet because I've been doing it one day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, we don't have any exhibits, and don't, is that us on the board? Okay,
Yeah,
so we have it on the board. That's what was presented, so take it away.
So he did a great job presenting what this project is all about. So the only thing I'd like to add to it is that I think it is a definite improvement to the community by adding this building, and it's definitely going to help the operation of the fire department. I think the client's choice to use the same brick that the building is using is going to fit into the context. And also I feel that it's backing up against parking lots and backyards that I don't feel it would be very intrusive on anybody's, any adjacent properties. That's my thought. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions of the board?
I have a question, just so the record's clear. The rear of what will be this new structure, what is exactly behind it?
They're putting up a new fence. Currently, there's a 6-foot plastic fence that's there now partially. And there's also a partial fence on the other side as well. On the long side, they're going to be putting a railing They're going to continue an existing railing that's there to separate the space. And along the back, we're going to be putting a plastic fence to separate it as well, a new plastic fence.
Yeah, the dumpsters for parties here also in that, right behind there, so they'll be shielded. I think there may be a fence there that's there, but there'll be, then that approaches as well,
Yeah.
there'll be a new fence that will be.
Counselor, have you had any conversations with the neighbors? Any objections?
No, quite the contrary, I think everyone's eager to see this, especially the parties, to see this encroachment fixed. And, no, we haven't heard, any, negative reaction from it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got a quick question. Will this be used for vehicles that need immediate exit? For like a fire truck or anything that needs to get out right away?
It may be, no, but what we, for the building. Maybe one here. I believe that the vehicle that the township owns, so there's an SUV that I guess the chief uses, I believe
Okay.
that that's going to be parked there, so.
I know there's parking spaces along the right side, if you're looking at the picture here along the right side there. So they won't block anything from quick access to get out of the garage, correct?
So you're saying they're on the,
Not where the driveway comes in, but on the other side,
there's parking.
not there, on the other side.
Oh, on this-
So if there's anything blocking the right side,
Yeah, if there is one, that is being reconfigured, then that would be restriped.
okay.
I don't believe it's not shown straight away. I don't believe it. There is.
Is it fair to say that this truck is really not used for fighting fires anymore?
I understand it's still operational, but no. It will not
It's
be
used
for-
primarily for parades.
Correct. And then they'll be there, use the boats there for storage and the chief's vehicle as well.
Okay. Additional questions? May I have a motion to open up the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to address the board or the presidenters, please come forward. No one coming forward. I close the meeting to the public. Any additional questions from the board? May I have a motion?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Is the building going to be heated? Is, no. Thank you.
May I have a motion? Mr. Berkeley, can you help us with what we have to do for variances?
The only variance is for the setback. The sideward setback.
John, what is the side yard setback?
So we show it as, there was a question, Mr. Kobelars's report showing it at one, I believe it's two.
Your plan says 1 to 3.5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there was an original plan, maybe that's why that was left there, but we looked at it again after getting your letter, it is 2 feet.
So it'll be a 2 feet buffer, what's the variance call for?
12,
Okay, all right.
12 feet required.
Yeah.
It's proposed.
correct.
Any other questions or comments
Oh,
from the board?
Mr. DeMaria is saying 6 feet is.
I didn't hear that,
is the
sir.
requirement.
John, I didn't hear that.
That Mr. DeMaria is motioning that 6 feet is the requirement, but suffice it to say, we don't have 6 either. I thought it was 12.
You settle on 8 or 10 or
No, it's whatever's in the code. It is what it is. If that's,
6 feet?
believe. But it was 12 for the accessory, but in any event.
All right, for the
we need to-
purpose of the meeting, let's call it 12 feet. May I have a
12,
motion?
we're seeking the variance for only having 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve the application seeking a side yard setback variance of 1 to 3.5 feet where 12 feet is required.
May I have a second?
Second.
Please poll the board.
Mr. Barry,
Yes.
Mr. Luke Demiano,
Yes.
Ms. Cataldo,
Yes.
Mayor Demiano,
Yes.
Councilman Scoba,
Yes.
Dr. Abdi,
Yes.
Mr. Dolan,
Yes.
Mr. Rima,
Yes.
Mr. Kilpatrick.
Chairman votes yes, the application is approved.
Thank you, everyone.
Does that bring to a close all the Singac Fire Department requirements?
Anything else coming in from the fine fellows at the Singac Fire Company? I do have some original surveys that I promised.
Mm.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Seac Fire Department, for the work that you do. We're all very grateful. And thank you, John, for representing them.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
Our next application is Knott's Road, Jackson Lane, LLC. It looked like you were waiting for your cue.
All right, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Robert Travers. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Notch Road, Jackson Lane LLC. This is for the property at 634, 636 Lackawanna Avenue in Little Falls. It's also block 185, lot 5, and it is also the NPR zone. We have an application tonight for a multifamily residential building. I have what I believe to be 4 witnesses tonight. As the board knows, I've been here before this board a number of times on this property, and I'm hoping tonight's winner chicken dinner. So we'll see. Anyway, my first witness is Michael Upchman. He's the engineer. You guys want that? Do you want the? Is that where you want the easel?
Well, we can't read it, but he can explain. Too far away. Move it just a little closer, please. And if you're gonna speak from there, can we get him a microphone?
Thanks.
Mr. Brigliaguro, before we start, we have representatives from Woodland Park tonight.
Leon, why don't you step up and just introduce yourself and we can find it.
Thank you so kindly and good evening, your honors. My name is Al Buckleone. I'm also back on this application as well as some other. It's been a while since we've seen you. I will be objecting on behalf of the Borough of Woodland Park, and present with us tonight are my client, but it's mayor and members of our council. We have Mayor Keller, Councilwoman Gagnon, Councilwoman Michael Sika, and Council President Mr. Vincent. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you.
We swear, Mr. Yes.
Swear from the testimony that you're about to give before this board is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Please tell us your name, clear last name, and give us your.
Sure. Michael Hubschman, it's Hubschman. I'm a licensed professional engineer and planner, and I'll be testifying as the civil engineer on the project tonight. My office address is 263 South Washington Avenue in Bergenfield.
Mr. Hubschman, what is your license number?
It's 29497
How long have you been a licensed engineer in the state of New Jersey?
for 40 years.
And have you been accepted by either this board or similar boards as an expert in the field of engineering?
Yes, for over 40 years. This is our firm specializes in this, smaller sites, subdivisions, site plans for the smaller.
That's excellent. Are your license is current?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much. He is accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, we have this marked there is A1.
It's marked at A1, Mr. Hopkins, just identify what it is. Is that, I assume that's a colorized version of the sheet that's being submitted to the board?
Yes, it is. This is the site plan sheet. It's 3665.1-2. It's dated 5/10/2024 with one revision, 9/12/2024, and it was colorized for the presentation.
A1.
Okay, thank you.
Hogan, did you prepare those plans?
Yes, I did.
Right.
You know, my office did.
And you're familiar with the site?
Very familiar, yes.
Can you describe the site? For the board, please?
Sure, as you know, we've worked on this for quite a number of years. The site is, it's lot 5, block 185. It's 634 and 636 Lackawanna Avenue. North is sort of to the upper right on this project. It's a triangular shaped lot, as you can see from the coloring here. Lackawanna Avenue, the circle is just to the southwest of us, Route 46. And then there are two, there's the Newark, the Passaic Valley water easements, about 100 feet from the right-of-way line of Route 46. The lots, what was it here? It's 39,000 square feet. It's about 0.9 acres. It's presently undeveloped. Few trees on it. I guess it was cleared over the years. You know, it's the existing site. We're also on the border. I guess Woodland Park is here. We're sort of on the border of Woodland Park, is on the two legs of the triangle, which would be east and northeast.
For the benefit of the board, can you identify what we were considering for the frontage of the property?
Sure. Well, we're considering Lackawanna Avenue as the frontage.
Okay, let me
Right.
reword. When we're looking at the structure, the front of the structure will be facing Lackawanna Avenue.
The front is facing sort of diagonally with Lackawanna Avenue, yes.
Son, are we saying that the front of the building faces Lackawanna Avenue?
Yes, because it's diagonally facing, so I would say that.
Okay, that affects the variances for the side yard. That's
That
what
is
I meant.
correct. It's not a rear yard, it becomes a side yard.
Thank you.
Mentioned in my review letter.
Can you talk a little bit about the topography line?
Sure. Well, let me just to talk about, I think, the zoning also. Right, the front yard is along Lackawanna, and then the side yard is to the right. And then in the last a set of reviews, they had one of the older applications, we had called that westerly yard, the rear yard, which was 10-foot setback. That was now considered to be a side yard, so it's front, side, and the rear, we just took it to the point, which is that. Sorry about. Oh. Okay, all right, but the topography of the site, it's sort of, slopes gradually towards the rear, and then it's a little more severe. That's shown on sheet 2. We were here a few years ago, 2 or 3 possibly, and then it came up that there might be wetlands on the property in a flood hazard zone. So we had taken care of a state application for the letter of interpretation and the flood hazard area a verification, they call it. That's where the state says, yes, I agree with you. There's the flood hazard area. And that took almost 2 years because they were very, very long down at the NJDEP. So that sort of changed some of the other lot. We're proposing the 16 unit apartments would include, let's see, it's 4 1-bedroom, 10 2-bedroom, and 2 3-bedroom apartments. So that's 16 apartments. There are 3 low and moderate income units proposed on the site. I'm trying to read my notes. I believe it's a 1 3-bedroom and 2 2-bedrooms, because that was the 20% of the 16, which is 3.2, and then it rounds down to 3 for that. It's a pretty simple circulation on the site plan. Ingress and egress on Lackawanna, we're going to have to remove part of that wall that the DOT built there. And we have a traffic expert that will get more into that and the site. And this is under the jurisdiction of the county to about this point, the line didn't print. So that's going to be removed. Our site is about 9 feet or so higher than the neighbor to the north at lot 2, which is in Woodland Park. So we're proposing a retaining wall along the north, it's a weird north, around, I guess, the northeast side of the site. Proposing I think it's a 43 space parking lot. 29 spaces are required. That tannish area is the apartment building. You drive under, there's a one-way in. Because we didn't want the cars, there's a house to the north, we didn't want the exit, if there any lights, headlights from the car, so we just made that an in. Circle around, there's a entrance and exit on the southerly side. Usual part, we have 9 by 18 parking stalls. Where I think your ordinance requires a 9 by 20, I believe, so that would be some sort of waiver. There is enough room to make them wider, but that's the RSIS does accept the 9 by 18 spaces. There in the garage area, there's 5 spaces, which is now with the requirement 15% of the spaces have to be suitable for electric vehicles, and there are other requirements. You need an ADA space and so forth. The parking, again, let me say this right. So our required parking is 29, and we're proposing 43 spaces on site, which is much in excess of what's required. Where this area to be vacated is shown as being used. It's 4,279 square feet. So that was, I understand, that was part of our project all along. I think was the area of the Little Ferry property that was to be vacated.
What page is that on your site?
Go on, that's shown on sheet 2. Two is a site plan, and we usually just show the zoning notes and the calculations, parking calculations and so forth on that sheet. Let me just see it right. There's the Great Knots Brook is behind us. The flood hazard line is, where that triangle, it's really, it doesn't affect the property. It's really low in the triangle. This is the second sheet, which is the same. It's not colored. That shows more of the engineering, which we have all our utilities coming out to Lackawanna Avenue, sewer coming out to the sewer at Lackawanna Avenue. All of our drainage runs towards the rear. We have a basin in the rear. Now we're considered a major project by DEP regulate, not that major for stormwater. We're over a quarter acre per. That sounds like over a major project, but it doesn't mean that, we're a really big project, but we really aren't. It's a small pump, less than an acre. But we have to provide green infrastructure. We're providing pervious pavement areas and a water quality basin here, which bioretention basin. Everything will be piped out, and that meets the. We use the type 4 storm or D storm, I think it's called, which is very severe. That's the latest one that they used for that. For the runoff because of Hurricane Ida and all the other really bad storms that we've had lately. So everything drains towards the rear, and it's going to be piped towards the brook in the rear. The flood hazard line is way in the back here. It's like elevation 265, and our building's at about 280, 287. First floor. So for utilities, right, they're available. We're proposing the sign, which we're requesting variances, but I think we were.
Yeah, we're gonna withdraw the sign application. If the client decides to do a sign, we'll do that we'll make a separate application, at a separate time. But for tonight's meeting, I think there was 3 variances.
I think there were 2 variances, one for height. Square footage.
It's actually 2. It's for signage area and the sign height. So obviously those are moved at this point.
Right. So we're not going ahead with the sign in the front. That's.
Are you going to increase it or are you going to decrease it? The sign.
We're
It's
trying
not
to-
as part of the application, so I'm a little confused.
Well, what we were thinking was that we'd like to just try to get a sign that would comply with town's ordinance without having to come back here.
Excellent.
So that's the,
Okay, so that's gone, right? The second sheet shows the grading and generally we're coming in at the level area, and then it pitches down quite a bit towards the north. There's a retaining wall along that northerly line. Going around the back. Here. Landscape and lighting plan. What we're proposing are basically some shade trees and arborvitae's around the sites, really along that residential property. And I looked at this also. We could even add some more if your professionals thought that we should add more. This will be a fairly level area between the wall and the neighbor, so we could even add more of those green giant trees if the board professionals thought that we should. I looked at it today. I thought we should probably add more too. Landscape lighting, there's 3. We try to minimize the lighting on site. So one of our older applications, we have the poles more towards the residents on the northeast. So we just show 3 poles. There's one along the by the refuse area, 3 pole lights, and there are 2 in the front, which are pretty far away from everybody, and that lights up the entire. It's very low light in the parking, and then there's a little higher light in the they're just ceiling lights in the garage area, right? And that's, is there anything else?
no, I just want to point out the proximity of the 46.
Oh, sure. It's on the first sheet too. We have like an aerial, but that's 100 feet to the right of way line. Then the right of way must be another at least 20 or so feet. It's shown on the first sheet. We have an aerial, a Google aerial. This is the aerial. This is triangles drawn to scale, just to show how far it's, about 100 and I'd say almost 150 feet to the roadway.
And approximately how much lower this site?
Sorry. Slower is it than 46? I really don't have that number.
Is it substantial?
It's far, yes, it's substantial. I mean, just from the Passaic Valley. And over here, you're at 286. We're around existing 276. So it slopes down 10 feet just here, and then another 10 feet, as you go.
I don't have any other questions.
Travis, if I could, can you just mark, let's mark the other exhibits.
Oh, the landscape?
Yeah. You presented 2 colorized exhibits, right?
Yeah.
So let's mark that A2 and just describe what it is.
Right, the landscape and or lighting and landscaping plan, it's sheet 7 of 9. Same dates, 5/10/2024. I think that was my mother's birthday. So sometimes I'll use dates like that. Keep it interesting. So, and then revision 1, which is 9/12/24. So.
Mr. Travers, okay, I lost that question, so we'll just skip over.
Okay, we'll get back to it.
I do have a question from our engineer. Can you describe from an engineering point of view, how the access to the property is gonna work from Lackawanna Avenue egressing?
Right,
primarily?
or we have a traffic
We have a
engineer.
traffic-
Yeah,
That's,
but he's not an engineer, or
Okay.
she's not.
well, he's an engineer, but I could, right, describe it, we're showing the, what is it, ingress and egress and a left turn only, leaving the site. Basically.
Okay, but you can't make a right. left.
We're showing that you can't make a right turn out.
You can make, okay, you're going up the hill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say, no, right, you're coming out as a right turn. I'm sorry.
Okay, you
I'm
cannot.
looking
turn-
at it upside down.
So the uniqueness of this property causes me concerns about the access. The ingress and egress, in my mind, becomes a safety issue on a pretty steeply sloped Lackawanna Avenue. At that point, professionals have reported that in order to leave, they can only go right up the hill, navigate the circle, which is a little tricky in high traffic volume times. And this has delayed them from getting to the wonderful stores in Woodland Park. Really good bagels. The circle itself can be difficult when there's a high traffic volume. Anybody from here who's been through that understands what I'm saying. So it is a unique application, a unique property. Access is critical to the approval of the applications. County may have some issues. It may present a different plan or changes which will affect this application in a large way. I thought a lot about this and I am recommending that you seek county approval first prior to our Board of Adjustment deep diving into the application. Do you want to confer to think about that?
Well, I can, here's what I can say. I've never been in that situation before where we sought county approval, but I do understand your concern. The county redid that circle, roundabout, what you can call it. They put an island in there, which really negatively impacted our site. So I don't know what the possibilities are, but I guess that's a question for the county as to what they're going to do. Maybe maybe there's enough room for a turn lane, maybe there's shortening of that island that's there. Clearly I'm not an engineer, so I couldn't tell you. But if that's the board's feeling, then I mean, we're gonna have to get county approval anyways. First.
Okay, any comments from the board? Agree, disagree?
I would have to agree to seek county approval. I'm also concerned with the traffic and from the looks of how you've put it forward, they can only enter from that one side of the road. So that one side of the road is going to be the only enter and then out, and then that affects Woodland Park as well. So it is a major intersection and the roundabouts are difficult to navigate in general, and that's so close to that. I'm very concerned with that ingress and egress.
It would seem to me that this is just my unprofessional opinion, that the problem is really the left turn into the site. The right turn out of the site could just go to be double that. Left turn out of the site, just go down, make the turn and come back. But clearly, I think
Well,
we recognize that the left turn in is this problem.
Exactly. So essentially anybody that lives there would have to navigate a certain way just to get into their building. Coming out, going right is not a problem, but as far as anybody coming up, trying to make a left turn in, that's only going to back up into Little Falls.
Okay. Again, reiterating, if that's what the board would like us to do, we'd be happy to.
So you agree, you'll take it to the county first?
Sure.
Thank you very much. And I also do have to compliment you, you have removed most of the variances except with the exception of the side and the poor compact spaces, and this board will never say you have too many parking spaces.
Well, that was part of the issue that we have is we could have, when, one of the variances is parking close to the lot, changed it. I don't think that the town would want us to eliminate spaces.
No.
Based on, in as much as there's a huge difference in elevation between the property line and where the road is. So I guess we'll make an application to the county, but so the question is, will I need to, I don't know how long it's gonna take.
I'll refer that to Mr. Brickler.
Well, I was gonna say, why don't we carry it? You wanna carry it 2 months?
Yeah, we can carry it as long as you like.
For the notice. And then we can revisit where you are, Travers, and if you need additional time, you can address it back.
Very good.
This way we don't lose sight of it, and we'll keep it on.
Right, I'd rather not have to be notified, but I guess on some level, the engineering plan and traffic changes are substantial. So I
Right.
understand the point's concern.
Okay.
Right, that puts me well over 11. All right, anyway, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be back to see you in a couple of minutes.
Thank you very much.
Why don't we, let's officially announce, what's the, not December, January?
January.
Give me a sec.
January second, second.
The date?
January second.
What was your question? The planning board meeting would normally be on the second, first.
Yeah.
It would be on January 2nd, which most likely will not happen because we have to wait for council appointments.
At our reorg in 2024, we should have established the first hearing date
Mm,
in 2025.
We did. Would you like to know what it is? Because I don't know what it is. Valerie, do you know what?
We did.
Okay, well, let's leave it at we did.
We did.
Okay, so why don't we do it this way? Why don't we officially carry it to our December meeting?
Okay,
Okay, and then that'll give us time to figure out additional dates. So why don't we carry it without, what's the December meeting?
Right,
December
fifth.
5th.
December
Yes.
5th?
Mhm.
So, all members of the public, we're gonna carry this matter to December 5th at 7 o'clock. We no further notice to the public required, so anybody who's interested in this application should return on December 5th at 7 o'clock. You caveat that it may be further adjourned based on representations from Mr. Travers about how he's doing.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Mr.
Appreciate it.
Travers, thank you. We have more board business. Is there any old business before the board? Any new business before the board? May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much.